Youngest in the Yacht Club. I am Vince Serrano. Yo, we got a special guest today. He's a legend on the radio in Tampa. He's also an entrepreneur, DJ, and a business owner. We got Davy Rolando. What's up, bro?
Man, I'm so happy to be here. I was telling one of my barbers just like a couple hours ago that I was on my way to the Yacht Club, and he was like, bro, he knew all about the podcast. He's a big fan. Shout out my boy Daryl. Daryl is going to be tuned in as soon as this episode drops.
Man.
So, man, it's an honor, bro.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you, Davy. Man, shout out to Daryl, man, because, you know, they getting there. The Yacht Club is making waves.
For sure. Yeah, bro, you got some motion going. My guy's got an ear to the street at all times, so if he's heard about it, you guys are doing something right, for sure.
Doing it, man. Bro, we always start off Youngest in the Yacht Club with the one question.
Dímelo.
Who is Davy Rolando?
Oh, man, I'm a hustler. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm somebody that doesn't want to work for somebody else. I bet on myself, you know, and just try to get it out the mud, man. I am somebody that likes to have his hand in multiple pots. And, bro, I'm just trying to figure it out day by day, man. We all just trying to make the right move, learn from our mistakes, and double down on what we're doing right.
I love that,
I'm just a relentless hustler out here, from here, staying here, out here, outside.
Outside, everything. Outside, working, grinding, all that, bro.
100%.
Bro, you become a name in the Tampa Bay community, bro. Like, what would you say you're most known for here?
Man, I would probably say I'm most known for radio and DJing. So I did the morning show on Wild 94.1 for like probably about 12, 13 years.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. So I was on the Freak Show for a long time, and we were so open and honest that I feel like a lot of people got to learn a lot about me, man, the honest, naked truth. And then for probably like the last like 15, 18 years, I've been out here like DJing and, you know, started in little dive bars and throwing my own little events to doing a bunch of clubs and stuff like that all over the city. Now I'm kind of more often than not doing like private events. I do a lot of weddings. I do a lot of like corporate gigs, quinceañeras, sweet 16s. I'm linked up with you at an event I was doing at like a cigar lounge.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I would say between one of those two things or somebody kind of supporting one of my businesses, I would say that's how most people have kind of, you know, come across my path.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I feel like now you're everywhere, bro. Like like you said, you're a hustler, you're an entrepreneur, you're a creator. You own multiple businesses too, correct?
Yeah, man. I have a few businesses. I have a tattoo shop, Emphasis Tattoo. We have Emphasis Barbershop. I have a new barbershop opening. Actually, our opening is going to be this Monday. It's the third groomsman location. So I bought into a franchise of barbershops. I got a smoke shop. And then I still DJ. I still have to deal with 10, 15 brides at any given moment. I really like the corporate gigs. Like I just did a real big event for Foot Locker. So Foot Locker, Champs, Dick's Sporting Goods, East Bay is all kind of under the same ownership. So I just did a big event for them. So yeah, man, I'm just trying to not leave any money on the table.
No, you definitely don't. You get it all, bro.
I try not to.
Those dollars are like Pokemon. You gotta catch them all. Huh?
I know that's right.
Yeah, nah. Bro. My wife. I feel like she grew up on you in the morning show. She even told me she used to love playing against you.
Oh, Beat the Freaks? Yeah. I got picked on a lot. That was a little trivia game that we did every morning. And, man, I'm so bad at, like, pop culture. Like, I don't really follow it too well. That was my weakness, and it got exploited. Like, as soon as it was, like, on this show, Love Island or some Kardashian stuff, I don't know. You got me.
That shit is crazy, right? Yo, bro, it's like right now that's a Love Island. There's a Love Island craze right now.
I see all the watch parties. Yeah, and I see people are like grouping up to watch it. Yeah, it must be good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you're like, I don't got time for TV. I know that's right. Bro, so you're from Tampa?
Yeah, man. We moved here when I was 4 years old. I was born in Costa Rica, but then we moved to Tampa when I was a JIT. And man, this is home, man. I've been here ever since. You know, I've moved around a little bit, but man, this is it for me right here.
Yeah, beautiful, bro. So you've seen kind of like the growth of the city, right?
Unbelievable, unbelievable growth, and I mean, especially obviously in these last 5 years
Yeah.
since like COVID hit. I mean, the growth has been exponential.
Right.
And I remember like during COVID or even like shortly thereafter, you would hear like, oh, 1,000 people a day, or Tampa's the most moved to city, or Tampa Bay area. But now, like, I feel like we're really feeling it from like the new businesses and venues to like the traffic to just like, there's just so many more people in places. You go somewhere and it's like, damn, there's a lot of people.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, to even now, like, I remember when downtown Tampa like wasn't really,
it was a ghost town.
Yeah,
a ghost town Tampa.
And now it's like heavy investments, 5-star restaurants, expensive ass hotels. So you know, it's been great to see. For sure.
I was gonna say, like, seeing the growth and seeing that it's great to see and those things. Do you ever miss any of the old stuff, or you've been waiting on this? You know what I'm saying?
You know, bro, I'm a big believer in the saying, control what you can control.
Yeah.
So I think with every new opportunity, there's going to be challenges that present themselves, but there's going to be things that you could take advantage of that weren't there before. So, man, I'm happy. I'm happy to be like a day one and to see where it is, where it's going. I mean, I feel lucky to have roots here for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And you're growing with the city as well, right?
Absolutely, man.
You feel like kind of like the same thing, like you've been able to take advantage of some of the opportunities while it's growing. You've been growing and kind of seeing that.
Oh, 1,000%, bro. 1,000%. There's money and investment and eyes on this area that, you know, it wasn't like that not too long ago. You know, Tampa used to be, I feel like, an afterthought after Miami, where now it's like another viable option. And it's, you know, we're on the right trajectory. And I watch different podcasts between yours and different people talking to like developers and people that really have like inside information. And where it's going is super exciting too.
For sure, bro. I came here in '99, right?
Okay.
And so I lived in a city. I've lived in different places, right? I came here when I was 14. So coming to Tampa, I was always like, damn, man, this shit reminds me like it should be like a San Diego or Los Angeles.
Yeah.
But it was like 20 years behind,
Facts.
right? Then all of a sudden, after COVID hits, now you're like, oh shit, we are kind of like on that same kind of trajectory.
Yeah, man. It was almost like the best kept secret, but like word is out now. People know. It really felt like it was like around the Tom Brady time.
Everybody says
that, but I think it's almost like an accurate timeline. Was it because of him or just, you know, coincidental? Right. But it was kind of like around that time that it went from like hot to like burning, like sizzling.
Yeah, absolutely. The
100%.
Brady effect, bro. Super Bowl, because, bro, like it was crazy. We had won a Super Bowl, but it wasn't like what it was now. Like, it was nuts, man. So, bro, as far as, I want to get into kind of like you said you were in Costa Rica, you came here, you grew up here basically. What was it like growing up in Tampa for you?
Man, Tampa was awesome. You know, I lived in a part of town where it was a lot of Latinos. So, you know, like my mom was kind of learning English as I was a jit, and I mean it was very welcoming, man. I think my parents picked a great place to move to,
right?
You know, and
comfortable, right?
Yeah, absolutely diverse, and I feel blessed to have been here for so long, for sure.
When you were going to school, how did you come up? Like, how was that? Like, what?
Man, I wanted to be a baller, bro. So I came up, trying to hoop, not very well, but
you were working
but it
on
was fun. But you know what? Like I shortly realized that like this is for fun.
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere. Like you're not gonna go play college ball. You're not gonna be a professional athlete. So like getting to look at it through the lens of that, where a lot of people that had zero chance just like me couldn't really see it yet.
They were delusional.
So yeah, man, it got to be fun, man. It was just always something to do, always like a camp or a tournament or a team to be on, and friends that I'll have for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
You kind of lose track of how lucky we are to be able to like hoop and play sports year round.
Yeah.
Where for a lot of places it's like very seasonal.
Yeah, absolutely. We are not going out in the snow
Yeah.
and balling on that thing. Like
Yeah, for sure.
And when you do, there's slush or whatever on that. Yeah,
and it's not fun like that. Yeah.
Whereas here we could do whatever.
Do whatever.
Yeah. And so you grew up. What about like after high school? What was the thought process of the young Davy?
Man, that's a good question, bro. I knew I wanted to do something music related. I didn't really know exactly what that looked like. But I did know that was like a passion of mine that I wanted to follow. I ended up going to a school in Orlando called Full Sail.
Full Sail, yeah.
Yeah. So I went to Full Sail, and over there you basically going to school for like recording, like being an audio engineer.
Yeah.
I shortly realized that wasn't really it for me. And I kind of knew I needed to make a pivot.
Yeah.
So man, the next move after school was looking for an internship. And I never even thought about radio. It was just nothing that even crossed my mind. It wasn't even an option because I didn't grow up listening to the radio. I grew up being that kid that every Tuesday I'd be at the CD store. I always had a passion for music. I could tell you what album was coming out this Tuesday, next Tuesday, 3 weeks from now.
Damn.
I would buy the albums. I would read the inserts. I would know who produced what sample was here, there. Like during high school, it was kind of when I started like lightly DJing, things like that. But yeah, man, after school, after Full Sail, I applied at every record label you could think of, MTV, BET, VH1, The Source, XXL, you name it. If it was music and especially if it was hip hop, like I was trying to be part of it. And it turns out that I was like a couple months from graduating. And I was back here in Tampa because the school's in Orlando. So I was in Tampa, and I was at Prana, and I met a girl at Prana, waiting, just kicking it. And me and her, boom, 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 we start talking or whatever. And she had just moved out of her mom's house. Like, she's living on her own for, like, the first time. And she was kind of freaked out about it. And, she had moved right down the street from the radio station. So she was the first one to put that bug in my ear. She was like, listen, you should apply for your internship at the radio station. If you get it, you could move in with me. Oh, really? And bro, lo and behold, after all those applications and everybody I tried to reach out to, the only call back I ever got, I'm still waiting for BET and MTV to hit me back. Like, holla at you. But the only call back I got was from, at that time, it was Wild 98.7. And it just so happened that I got that internship. So now I'm living with this girl that I essentially like just met like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, your roommate.
Yeah, bro. And I looked at it as that was me going all in. That was me betting on myself.
Yeah.
I got the internship. It was 240 hours unpaid.
Wow.
And from there, boom, 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 knocked out the internship. I got on the street team. Street team is basically just like your promotional staff.
Yeah.
It was $8 an hour at the time. It was 20 hours a week max. It was a part-time gig.
Yeah.
Definitely not enough to like support yourself.
Right.
So, man, there was probably, 40 people on the street team, and every single one of them, the goal is I want to get on air. I want to be an on-air personality or a DJ or something like that. There's two problems. A, those spots are extremely limited.
Yeah.
Like, you have to literally wait for somebody to get fired, somebody to let go or quit, which never happens, to get one of those spots. And the second really big hurdle is that everybody had a quote unquote real job. You couldn't support yourself off that. So everybody they were a bartender, they worked at T-Mobile or wherever.
Right.
They had something that was keeping them away from the station, or the way I looked at it, they had something that was keeping them away from the music.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So that was when, number 2 time, I'm gonna bet on myself. So that's when I kind of decided to go all in on the DJing. I'm like, nah. So like, I'm gonna supplement my income by doing these little gigs and stuff like that. And it starts with the $50, $100 in a bar tab gig at a dive bar on a Tuesday night, on an off night, and then just kind of building from there. But I was in a situation that was a little different than most of the people because I'm working at this radio station now and I got the best DJs like in the city that I'm watching day in and day out. So I'd watch them boys and I'd go home and try to do what they did.
Yeah.
And now I'm doing back and forth. I'm getting a little better. Not just that, I'm getting my confidence up.
Yep.
So it's like now I'm, getting a couple more gigs, this and that.
You getting the reps with the Jordans in the city.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. I see. You see it.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
You gotta get your reps in.
Right.
So I was doing that, and things work kind of simultaneously. So as I'm getting a little bit more known, I'm getting a little bit more like events and opportunities. I'm kind of going up on the radio station a little bit like that. So, man, I did that for a long time. I was DJing at strip clubs for a long time. It was just anything to not have to get a real job.
1,000.
And then, bro, after doing that for years, I ended up getting a Saturday show. I ended up getting a Sunday show. It's I'm seeing the motion, but it feels like it's taking forever, bro. And man, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Like there was a couple points where I'm starting to lose faith.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, is this ever gonna happen? How long is this gonna take? Am I wasting my time?
Yep.
Because in that process, man, I saw so many people just fall off. And I'm like, man, I can't be the next one. And honestly, bro, it was like when I least expected it. It was a call at like 10:30 at night. My boss, Orlando, hit me up. The guy that was on the morning show ended up getting let go or whatever. And it was just like, it was when like, preparation meets possibility. However that saying goes.
Preparation meets opportunity.
There it is.
Yeah.
Bro, everything lined up.
Success.
And it was like, yo, but can you be here at 5:30 in the morning? I'm like, yeah.
I gotta make it work.
And like for me, I was still so much of that hustle and DJing mindset that I'm still doing gigs at night.
Yeah.
I'm doing the radio in the morning and it's working, but I'm dying.
Yeah. You burning.
I'm burning
the night oil and the gas in the morning.
I remember I had every Sunday night in Bradenton at this strip club that I knew I needed to let it go. But it was like, man, I built it from nothing.
Right.
I'm making good money.
Yeah.
I'm honestly having a really good time.
Yeah, you're doing that. It's everything.
And it was hard to let go. And now I got motion in Bradenton. They're booking me on some other stuff. But I'm like, yo, I gotta let it go because I knew that like Mondays, I'm getting through the show, but I'm dying.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the day, I'm worthless, So that was one of the hard sacrifices was like, again, it's like, all right, so you got to where you wanted to as far as like the radio thing, like it's time to double down on that. So I had to stop doing a lot of those events. That's kind of when I started leaning in on like the weddings and like the private gigs and stuff like that, because it was ultimately like, how can I make the same or more but not have to do it 3 or 4 times a week? Oh, okay, I'm just gonna invest in all this equipment and the insurance. And there's a lot of like really dope DJs, really good DJs, for whatever reason. Maybe they like being in the club, maybe they don't want to lug equipment. I get it, like I'm a lot of times the first one there and the last one to leave if I'm doing, because it's a different ball game than going in the club, plugging in your laptop and rocking
plugging
out
into the system.
But I'm like, they're paying me 2 bands. I can make $2,500 for these 5 hours. Like,
you gonna pick up that crate, pick up
that crate.
speaker, set that, be there an hour early.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So man, that's where I'm at with it now. About it. So then, in 2020, it was the week COVID hit. March 1st, 2020, I opened up my tattoo shop.
Wow.
March 8th, 2020, 8 days later, we were shut down for 7 months.
Crazy.
Yeah, but, we got through it. We were tatting on the low and, doing all that shit. Whatever.
Making it work.
We were making it work, bro. And that was in 2020. And then it's been about a year and a half, close to 2 years ago, I stepped down from the morning show. It was a super hard decision, but again, bro, I wanted to go all in, bet on myself, and just do the entrepreneur thing full time or as much as I could. I still do DJ on the radio, just kind of on a part-time basis. I do the weekends. I do a couple times a week.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, the focus is definitely business. I like the corporate side of things. I like the idea of you not having to trade time for money.
I like that.
You know, like right now, I just left the tattoo shop. We're booming today. It was a good day. So it's like, yo, I'm here. We still making money over there.
Right.
Things are going smooth.
Right. You got the barbershops.
We got the barbershops. So yeah, bro, that's ultimately the goal. Is just trying to have my hands in a few different pots. I got a big play we're working on. We'll be talking about that, you know, as it unfolds.
Yeah.
But it's just about, for me, man, not being complacent, not settling. And I look at, there's a lot of entrepreneurs that I look at, I study, I admire, and I like the guys that they have multiple things going on. It keeps it exciting. It could be stressful. It could be super stressful when you're, putting up your own bread to make things happen, your own situations. But man, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Bro, you talked about kind of like in each stage transitioning to a new piece, right? You talked about transitioning from school to the intern, from the intern to the street team, from the street team to the DJ, from the DJ to the radio personality into the wedding guy, and then the corporate events, and then from that into the full-fledged entrepreneur.
For sure.
Each transition, bro, I mean, I feel like I have to ask this for me, right?
Please.
Those transitions, what helped you get through them? Like, what was the idea where you felt like you knew you were making the right decision? And were there times where you made the wrong decision?
Oh, 100%. I mean, so it takes, for me, before I jump into anything, I give myself time to like really think about, can I see myself doing this 40, 50 hours a week? I'm not going to rush the decision. But once I decide, I have to decide with the mindset of like, we are not going to half-ass this.
Right.
We have to go hard on this. And if for whatever reason, if you're not passionate, if you don't feel like you have the time, it's not going to work if you're like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I think at every level of the story I've told, but different entrepreneurs, you always get that like imposter syndrome where you're like, man, do I deserve this? Am I really him? And there's always going to be that self-doubt that kind of creeps in. But once you decide that like, hey, we're going to go, those thoughts are still going to be present, but you just got to drown them out. And I mean, once you decide, you got to be 10 toes down. So that's always been my thing. It's like, I'm going to take as much time as I need to make any decision. But once that decision is made, it's like there's almost no going back from it at that point. You got to do it with like almost just like a crazy confidence.
Yeah.
That like you've thought about it enough. You've played every situation out. What happens if this goes down, or that, even unforeseen stuff? Like, for example, like nobody could have guessed that the world was going to shut down in 2020. But what helped us, it was like you always hear about like when you're opening up a business, like, oh, you're supposed to have X amount of months of expenses just ready in case you don't make money. We did that.
Beautiful.
We did that. We had money, like we had the mindset of like, we might not make money day 1 or month 1 or month 3, but we have to have that cushion. And it's funny that we were talking about this because so when we opened in 2020, it was our tattoo shop. It was called Tattoo 05. We were in Suite 205. And then we kind of felt like we were outgrowing that suite. We wanted to expand. At first, we were going to expand into a second location. But then the opportunity came to actually expand within. So we were able to get the next 2 suites. So instead, we went from 1 suite to 3 suites, right? And the way that happened is we were talking to our landlord. He knew that we were looking for a second location. We didn't find anything that we loved. And he was like, here, I'm going to help you out. Basically, he was able to get the guy that was in that unit next to us another unit, this and that. And it was because during COVID time, when we had just moved in, every business stopped paying him rent.
Damn.
Like, we can't be open. We're not going to pay your rent. We, again, came in with, we're going to do this the right way.
Yeah.
We have the cushion. So we were like, yo, it's not his fault that COVID happened.
Right.
So we paid him just like regular.
Yeah.
Like, we never, still to this day, we've never been late one time. It's
Beautiful.
it's just handling business.
Yeah.
So he mentioned that. He was like, you were the only one. You guys were the only, he was like, he expected us to probably be the first ones.
Yeah, because
So
new
we
business.
were new.
Yeah.
We're the tattoo guys.
Yeah.
He has like, a more professional
Look,
tenants and
You
stuff.
guys look like the misfits.
Exactly.
But y'all coming through.
We stood on business.
Yeah.
And honestly, shout out to Harold, our landlord, that he was able to do that solid for us. He appreciated it. And it didn't even surface until like 3 years later. He never even mentioned it. And so doing good business is so important, and it might not necessarily show its face or show the rewards immediately. It might be 4 years. You might get a blessing that you didn't even know where it came from, and it was the product of doing right by somebody a decade ago.
That's awesome, bro. That's awesome, bro. When we come back from the next segment, I'm gonna ask you a few more questions about how to start businesses, how you feel and not be overwhelmed, right? Because we talked about trading time for money.
Absolutely.
And then kind of what's next for Davy.
Okay.
All right, bro. Man, we're back at Youngest in the Yacht Club with Davy Rolando.
Hell yeah,
Bro,
good convo so far.
Bro,
sure.
you've got. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Davy. Like, from your radio personality to actually meeting you in person, dog, you are a different. Like, it's a different vibe. You know. I mean, I've never met you before. We met you in the club.
Yeah.
And from that point on, it was like, oh shit, he's real cool. But like I've listened to you on the morning show before. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I don't know, man. Like, I felt like you were kind of like the Latino stereotype, right?
Yeah. I was the contrarian a lot of times. I would take the opposite. I think my views were a little bit different than everybody in the rooms.
Bro, but I felt that, though. Like,
Facts.
I felt like that's why you were probably one of the favorites, right? You were one of the, like, it was easy to love you on that show because you were like, fuck it. Like, So, with that being said, right, you leaving the radio station and then creating these businesses, bro. Like, how did you start that? Like, I know you had the money, but like, did you have tattoo experience? Like,
No, I didn't. I didn't. You know what it was, man? Me and my business partner, we met. We got real cool. He kind of explained to me the tattoo business. I think I was kind of looking for a venture to get into. I remember when I was as young as being an intern or a street teamer in the game, like, I remember thinking that, like, when you get to the position of, people are listening to you every day, there's a level of like influence that you kind of have. And I always was like, yo, if I got in that situation, I would parlay that into a business, into something aside. Yeah, the club is cool, and like, that's like the easy no-brainer way to like go start hosting events or DJing an event. That's cool. Like, I always felt like that's always going to be there.
Right.
But like, what else can I kind of, because the beauty of the morning show for me was like, yeah, we started super early, but I was out of there by like noon at the latest.
Yeah.
So I had all day so I was kind of looking for something to put my time, my energy, my resources into.
Yeah.
Met my partner. He kind of explained it to me, and then, man, it just made sense.
Yeah.
And so one thing that I did, and I encourage like a lot of entrepreneurs and people on the come up to do, is I didn't go. So like in the time frame, there was about 3.5 years where I was on the morning show. I did the radio as I was building this tattoo shop, right? So it wasn't until the tattoo shop got to a certain level of, we have enough artists, we're making enough money that I can know that I can comfortably survive off of my business. And then I was able to make that transition.
Right.
But like, had I opened the business and said, oh, that's it, I'm done, it wouldn't have worked out. So it was like, it's kind of started as a side hustle, and until it was able to be the main hustle.
The main hustle, yeah. So you basically were you used the rest of your time in the day, the extra time that you had, any resources that you could to put into it, until it became the main chick.
It felt like a no-brainer.
Yeah, for sure.
Honestly, I was always just like, why don't more people do
I mean, bro,
this?
you tatted up, dog.
Yeah, and I love tattoos, and I respect and appreciate it so much that I'll never do a tattoo.
Oh, wow.
Like I'm a collector, but I can appreciate it, but like I'm not gonna be an artist. I can't draw at all.
Right.
But there were other contributions that I knew that I could, bring to the table.
Yeah, at business side.
On the business side of things.
That's amazing, bro.
Yeah, bro. And like you come to our shop and, having a real good customer experience is top tier, very important for us. So I feel like I'm kind of more concerned and looking at everything from the client's perspective, where my business partner, who is a phenomenal tattoo artist, he's renowned, he's kind of more looking at things from the artist perspective, and it's kind of like a one hand washes the other
balance
type situation.
You guys balance each other out.
Absolutely.
Bro. Man, that's dope, especially to have a good partner that you can look. It's kind of like you're the manager and he's like the artist type thing, right? Mm-hmm. Or you're the investor and the artist kind of, or obviously
we wear different hats,
right.
but we both kind of respect each other's role. Where if he has something that he's like, yo, it would be like really good for our artists or for the shop on this side of things, it's like, bro, I'm gonna trust your judgment. Like, we're business partners for a reason, and kind of vice versa.
And to incentivize artists, looking at it from an artist perspective gives you a different view.
For sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
And like back to doing good business again, like they say, oh, you're not supposed to do business with friends and stuff like that. Like my business partner is my best friend, and we've never had like a argument. And like if we look at things differently, we sit down and talk about it like men without getting in our feelings and holding little whack ass grudges and stuff like that. No. Lay all your cards out on the table, and this is how I think we should do this. This is how I feel you handled this, and boom, it's like that. And if you can kind of treat situations like that, and it's rare that you can find a partner or a collective that is not trying to like screw each other over for money, but it's super doable. There's a lot of good people out there, man. That's awesome. I don't subscribe to the don't do business with friends thing.
or partners are for dancing. I'm not even lie.
Business partners are like, a lot of people are like, man, you seem to do a lot and have your hands in a lot of things. How do you kind of juggle all that? And man, one of the things is I have great partners in everything. I believe in business partners for sure.
You can't do everything by yourself.
You really can't. And if you try, you're either gonna fail, you're not gonna enjoy it because you're just gonna be stressed out. And like from the barbershop situation, my tattoo shop situation, smoke shop, like I have really good and competent partners, and we communicate well, and we're kind of all on the same page with things, so it really works.
Bruh, I was gonna ask you, you basically led into the next segue, like, so what made you get into the barbershop business?
Yeah,
because I see you cut it, you fade it up too. Like,
and I don't cut hair either. Man, I had an opportunity about a year ago to purchase a chain of barbershops out here. And in that opportunity, I really studied the game and the business and things like that. The purchase ended up falling through, but doing my due diligence, it left me with this is kind of like a business that I wouldn't mind getting into. So when the deal fell through, it was something I was working on for months. So I was a little hurt for like a day. And then it was like, you know what? I'm just gonna open up my own. And it was one of those things that I had kind of studied the business, the market, and it felt feasible. So it was just, honestly, that was kind of like, I don't want to say a spur of the moment decision, but it was kind of turning a negative situation into a positive situation. That's
awesome, bro. How were you able to balance the two? Like, was it the same kind of situation? Were you still working two jobs, or what? How'd that go?
I mean, every day is about balance and act.
Yeah.
I would say that a barbershop once you get it going is a little bit more, I don't want to say hands off because no business is really hands off, but I feel like it's a little bit more self-sufficient, where, you know, the barbers, the goal is, you know, full list of clients and they're hustling every day, and it's a little bit more attainable. And that was kind of one of the benefits I saw of it. So, I mean, you know, there's enough hours in the day. I feel like if you work smarter, not harder, that you can get stuff done. And then also, like, I'm big on like delegating. Like, you can't do everything yourself, but you also can't expect people to help you if you don't articulate it and give them clear direction and expectations. So if you have a good team and you can kind of communicate and keep everybody kind of on the right track, I mean, you can get a lot done. Yeah. I feel like I honestly feel like I have room and time and mental bandwidth for a lot more stuff.
That's fine.
Straight up.
No, that's good, man. Bro, so do you cut hair too or
nah?
No? Okay, so that's another thing.
That's another thing.
You're basically taking the business acumen that you've had from the tattoo shop, applying it. There's differences, but there's similarities in business. Yeah. And then offering opportunities to other people.
Yeah. And we try, like, in the barbershop, like, for example, we're opening up this shop on this Monday. It's the third location, and I bought into this third location. So it's two of my boys. They started it, and now with this one, I'm a third partner.
And what's it called?
And it's called The Groomsman.
Awesome.
It's in Brandon. And it's a kind of a similar situation to how I have my barbershop, where, like, my best friend, my business partner, is a phenomenal tattoo artist. One of my partners in The Groomsman is a phenomenal barber. So I can trust that, like, that side of things, which I know that I don't know much about, I have an expert on the team. That. So I can trust calls and decisions you make. Like, boom, you're obviously going to have our best interest. So you run with that. Now I have a side of the business or the marketing that, and it might not even be that they don't know it. It's just like, hey, I have my hands full doing other stuff. Yeah. But I feel like that is my contribution to the businesses. And it's still kind of the same concept of, like, I put in my groundwork in the streets, on the radio. I have enough people that kind of know who I am or follow me or whatever, that I could still kind of parlay some of that influence into success in the business.
That's fire, bro. That's dope, bro. Like, my question to you is, how do you feel about, you know, the young Davy looking for opportunities, now the more seasoned Davy offering opportunities to people? Does that make you feel like...
It does. It feels great. Honestly, it definitely does. I have, like, tattoo artists that are, like, I have 3 tattoo artists that are straight from Cuba. Wow. You know, straight from communism. And I kind of watched them get their first apartments and buy a car and start going to nice restaurants and taking trips to Miami for no reason. And it feels great. The younger Davy, honestly, wouldn't be surprised, to be real with you. Yeah. 20 years ago, bro, to be 100, I would have thought it would have happened sooner.
Oh, wow.
Whatever it
is, whatever it's happening right now.
I would have thought it would have been blown up. So I kind of have always expected it, because I just know that I'm going to work at it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is and whatever I kind of, like, decide, I'm a hyper person, and I know that, like, I'm going to go and I'm going to bet on myself again and just kind of go all in with it.
Yeah, you'll go get it.
Yeah. That's the only way.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Bro, if you could go back to your younger self, what advice would you tell yourself?
Oh, man. You know, I would have done better in school. I would have paid more attention. I would have kind of stepped outside of, like, my friends group and become friends with everybody. I would have become, like, a little bit, like, I didn't do well in high school. Like, I skipped a lot, and I'm not in any way glorifying. If anything, I kind of regret it, because, like, I'm big on now, like, learning stuff and trying to be educated. And I realized that there were, like, a lot of gaps that I had to fill later on in life, like gaps in knowledge that I probably would have learned had I showed up to school and
Big
not
facts.
cheated on the test. So if anything, I kind of regret, like I was getting suspended, I got expelled at one point, and like I kind of look back and think about like, hey, I kind of played myself. I put my parents through a lot. So I
Yeah.
definitely regretted those kind of rebellious years that it was like really like for no reason. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, some child shit, right?
For sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so you would basically go back and say, "Hey, bro, like relax."
Yeah, I really would have, man, because I've definitely seen a lot of people that were on that kind of similar trajectory that kind of weren't able to like dig their way out of it. You know, it kind of never went up from there. I'm blessed that I was kind of able to, and I mean, it was, you know, it takes a village, right?
Right.
I grew up with both my parents. They were both very encouraging, and I wasn't in the situation that a lot of my friends were in, and I feel like younger Davy wasn't necessarily like there to reach his full potential and capitalize on it.
Bro, that's a real live, like, that's a good way to know, like, to put that, like, yo, you could have been, like, not you could have been, but the potential that was there, you could have tapped into it a lot earlier.
You don't want to be that dude that could have gone to the league but never made it out the hood. You know, every neighborhood has
Got one,
that
yeah.
guy, that superstar, but like in your neighborhood, and he had the potential. He could have gone D1. He was
Yeah.
better than LeBron. Okay,
Right.
but he's still like hooping right here.
Yeah.
So that's a sad story, and I'm sure that guy lives with a lot of regret. That's one thing I never, like from an early age, I didn't ever want to be like, man, had I just gone harder, if I would have just put. So at a certain point, it kind of all just clicked,
That's beautiful.
and I knew that like it could be so much more.
Bro, with the success that you're seeing in business and the transitions and the things that you've learned, if somebody came up to you and was like, Davy, you're like my Gary V.
Oh man,
You're Davy V.
Okay.
Yo, I need a piece of advice on entrepreneurship or growth.
Okay, so for me, it has to be whatever you pour your energy into has to be something that you truly enjoy and that you would do for free. That's the way I kind of look at it. Not that it's going to stay for free, but something that you enjoy enough, because making money off of like entrepreneurship it's an uphill battle.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. You can't think that you're gonna build something and that people are gonna care. You got to really be in their face a lot, and I would definitely suggest doing what I did, which in the sense of having like your main source of income and then using your extra time and extra money to kind of build your own thing with the idea of when it's ready. And maybe you're good with it just being like a weekend passion project. That's fine. You just got to be realistic with yourself. I knew eventually I kind of wanted to do that full time, but you have to be realistic and at the point that you are and what it's going to take to get to the point that you can like, okay, I'm going to let my 9 to 5 go and I'm just going to work for me full time now. It's hard, man. And it takes a lot longer, I think, than people expect it to.
Bro, I feel like entrepreneurship has been like entrepreneur, like has been in the same class as like gaslighting, gatekeeping, manifestation. Like people are using these words and these terms to be cool, but they're not influencer, right?
Right.
But they're not really using them like they don't really understand them, and so like for it to be you and understand like, hey, bro, like you want to be an entrepreneur. This shit ain't all beautiful, bro.
Right.
Like,
yeah, there's months that you could lose money.
Yeah.
It's one thing to not make money. It's another thing to lose money.
Yeah.
And then still not lose faith in it. Like there's been months in the red where your revenue is not reaching your overhead.
Yep.
And then what happens is you got to come out of pocket.
Yep.
And coming out of pocket a couple times will make you question everything.
Yeah.
Make you, am I doing the right thing? Should I just go back to it'll definitely raise a lot of doubt. But you know, you got to bet on yourself, and if you believe in it, man, just keep going.
Keep going. Keep pushing at it.
You kind of have to.
Boy, you speaking to me right now. You're speaking to me right now.
Yeah, there's no shortcuts.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's going to take longer than you think it's going to take. It's going to be more expensive than you think it's going to be. It's going to be, you know, harder. There's going to be less free time. You're going to miss calls and birthdays and you know, not be available for things. And then on top of that, the people whose, you know, events and stuff you're missing, they're like, but don't you work for yourself? Couldn't you just not do X, Y, and Z?
Why do
like,
you work so much?
You don't understand. Like, yo, we trying to get somewhere,
right?
And you know, getting the bread out of it is not easy.
Not easy.
Yeah,
bro. What's next for Davy?
Man, I got a couple projects I'm working on.
Yeah.
The goal with the barbershops is to franchise and just keep opening up more.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So definitely doubling down on that. I'd love to have another tattoo shop, probably in another city somewhere. But we got a real big play that we're working towards. Yeah. So just not stopping, not being complacent, and just kind of using your network. And you know, everybody listening, you probably got more people on your side than you even realize. And sometimes it kind of takes, you know, taking that step back and realizing who you know or who's down to kind of help. And help could just be as much as sharing a post or you know, pulling up. And so yeah, what's next is being open to opportunities that present themselves.
That's fine, bro. That's fine. Davy, bro, where can the people find you, find the businesses, find what's, you know, find how to contact you, bro?
Yeah, I mean, you can find me personally at my tattoo shop basically every day. It's called Emphasis Tattoo, but I'm heavy on you know, social media. Try to stay as active as possible. It's on Instagram, Davy, Davy.Rolando. The tattoo shop is emphasis.tattoo. The barbershop is emphasis.barbershop. The groomsman. So, man, I'll still be outside. You can still book me to, you know, DJ something somewhere, a little event. So, yeah, man, where you can find me out here. I ain't got no plans on going anywhere.
That's awesome.
You know, keeping the ear to the street, still trying to help people with the music. That's still.
What do you do on that side?
Well, you know, I still DJ a lot. I try to, you know, from a radio side, and I've seen a lot of artists make mistakes. I've seen them get signed, and you know, I try to give everybody as much time as I can, the best advice that I can. So that's always something that's kind of, you know, near and dear to me, you know, from the local scene to just trying to progress on my personal, like DJing and things like that. Like this whole everything, this whole career field, which I kind of parlayed into entrepreneurship, always started with a love and passion for music. And I feel like that's probably stronger than it's ever been.
That's fire, bro. We're going to send you this Youngest in the Yacht Club EP that
Let's
we did.
go.
Yeah. We got a lot of good artists on there, man. And just kind of just moving forward, man. Like, bro, I always try to, especially with the last segment, I try to give the people their flowers, especially if I know that they've done a lot for the city. So this is your give the flowers moment to Davy Rolando. Bro, again, like I said, I probably grew up off of hearing you on the Freak Show, hearing my wife listen to you with the kids in the car, taking them to school in the morning, like 7 o'clock in the morning, and just on the Beat the Freaks questions, and just being all around the city, dog. Like, you've been one of those ones, dog. And I feel like it's important, bro. It's important to tell you, man, like, you being a staple in the community here for a lot of people, not just myself, but I know there's others that feel that way. I know, Will, you were at Elena's doing the cigar lounge and just having a dope event, creating that atmosphere where you're approachable and just doing things for the community, bro. I think it's amazing for you, bro.
It's taking me places and putting me in front of people that, you know, I grew up idolizing, or, you know, just really important people that I would have never thought in a million years I'd get to, you know, have a conversation with. And radio's definitely done a lot for me. Betting on myself and following the music and just, you know, trying to be consistent with it has opened a lot of doors that it's, you know, I'm still humbled by it. Like, one thing I learned about, like, especially doing morning radio, is that, like, obviously, like, everybody doesn't listen, but the people that listen tend to listen every day.
Yeah.
You know, and then we're very open and honest, and we talk about, you know, personal stuff, and, you know, people kind of get attached to it, and it's definitely been humbling by how many people have said really nice things, and, you know, almost 2 years later, people come up to me almost daily and just, you know,
We
remember
grew up
things
with you,
I
dog.
said. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, bro. It's definitely a blessing. And I gotta give a lot of props to Orlando, the boss of the radio station, and the host of the morning show. Man, you know, it's honestly rare that somebody holds down a station for so long, like he has, and through the highs that the radio's experienced to the lows. You know, nobody ever told us kind of like what to say, or like, hey, we need you to take this opinion. It was always just like, man, say what you feel, don't cuss, and we'll keep it moving, you know. And I feel like that's a rarity. So, you know, shout out to him.
Yeah, shout out to Orlando, bro. Shout out to you. Shout out to, we got to get Orlando Meredith on the show, bro. That'd be dope to have him on here,
I can
bro.
help you with that.
Yeah, man. And, bro, you continue to keep doing it and growing, bro, man. It's an inspiration. I feel like I learned a lot from you just being on the show, bro.
Thank you, bro.
Man, thanks for being on, Davy.
For sure.